Hello everybody, my name is Rue and welcome to my cozy corner of booktube, Rue with the Books. One of my 2026 reading goals was to read the entire Farseer Trilogy by Robin Hobb. And just as February ends, I managed to put a nice little ribbon on top for that one. I was kind of expecting it to take me longer to spread the books out, so read a Farseer book, read another book, or maybe another 2 books, and then return. But I got so sucked in by Robin Hobb's world and writing that I just went for it and did it all in February, and it felt very, very rewarding. In this video, I will be reviewing the entire Farseer Trilogy, steering clear of spoilers as best that I can. Today's question is, what is your favorite fantasy series of all time and why? Leave a comment down in the comment section below. Before I get into my review, be sure to press the like button, subscribe for more booktube content from me, and grab a nice hot beverage to enjoy alongside this video. Without any further ado, let's talk about the Farseer Trilogy. So, the Farseer Trilogy is centered around a guy called Fitz Chivalry Farseer. Fitz's father is Prince Chivalry, a guy that is, for the most part, really well regarded in this kind of country of the Six Duchies. However, Fitz is born out of wedlock, and for bearing a bastard and bringing dishonor upon himself, Chivalry decides to go into exile. And this kind of leads Fitz to essentially be abandoned, where neither Chivalry nor Fitz's mother look after him, and Fitz is essentially taken in under the tutelage of Burrick, Chivalry's king's man, pretty much his right-hand man. Burrick is a stable master, and this allows Fitz to have his first experience of living alongside animals. Now, Fitz has a very special power. This power is called the Wit, and it allows Fitz to bond with various animals, basically seeing through their eyes, smelling through their noses. Overall, it allows Fitz to experience these animals' senses and communicate with them telepathically. The Wit, as a power, is highly frowned upon in this kind of setting, this world, because the rumors state that the more somebody uses the Wit, the more animal-like they become. So, if a witted person is bonded to a wolf, the more they use this power, supposedly the more wolf-like they become. In my opinion, it's a load of old bollocks. Anyway, the reason that I'm talking so much about Fitz in this plot section is because for a very long time in this trilogy, there isn't really an overarching plot. We just follow Fitz through his coming of age. The name of the first book is actually called Assassin's Apprentice, and it follows Fitz in learning how to get rid of people discreetly, using hidden weapons, poisons, traps, things like that. As Assassin's Apprentice goes on, bad things start happening to the citizens of the Six Duchies. They are basically getting forged. What that means is that people start losing their humanity, becoming like kind of like animal-like people who will fight one another for food, that being like scraps, for clothing, being able to get close to like a fire and remain warm, things like that. Now, what is causing the forging? Well, there are these red ship raiders who raid coastal towns and villages of the Six Duchies, but these raids go against all common sense, because they don't really take valuables from the Six Duchies or anything of the sort. They are just there to forge people, which is really heartless and senseless, and it feels very pointless. We don't understand what their motivations are. and it kind of sets them up as these very kind of very difficult to understand villains, a bit of an ominous force that is just kind of present on the high seas. So yeah, the forged people, they become husks of humanity, devoid of emotion, lacking companionship. All that they focus on is survival. So, the big grand plot that opens up over the course of Assassin's Apprentice is how can Fitz and the royalty of the Six Duchies overcome these red ship raiders to stop people from getting forged. The sad thing is that there is no way to unforge a person once it happens, and so they kind of just become mindless enemies of the state that act kind of like vagabonds that might attack people as they're traveling from one place to another. So kind of leaving them alone is not really an option. They are really, really, really dangerous. A little bit like zombies, just because they are so mindless. They simply have to be eliminated, and that means that there is a large cost to life for the country as the raiders keep forging. Now, if that sounds like a pretty simple way to wrap up the trilogy, to wage war on the red ship raiders, eliminate them, and stop the forging, you would be a little bit wrong. The red ship raiders are very cunning, and they always seem to be one step ahead in some kind of way. They are hard to predict. They move quickly and with razor-sharp precision. In addition to that, there is a lot of very, very frustrating turmoil within the nobility itself. There are plots to take over the crown and different kind of factions. Essentially, a lot of division. And when people are divided, it's very, very hard for everyone to unite and overcome the big bad. That means that nobody can really agree on what to do in terms of these red ship raiders, and specific people's self-interests really, really stop progress on that end. It's so infuriating. There are enemies on the inside, there are enemies on the outside. There is no easy solution, and it takes a lot of very, very smart maneuvering to essentially get out of this predicament. I'm not going to go any further in terms of talking about the plot because I'm edging dangerously close to spoiler territory. What I will say though is that it gets very epic. The final book of the trilogy is called Assassin's Quest, in which our characters, and especially the main character Fitz, have to go on a very long, arduous, dangerous, thrilling journey to overcome all of the perils that are present to the land of the Six Duchies. There's an unbelievably annoying villain that kind of really, really hinders progress and is very kind of self-concerned, has a lot of self-interest, really wants to keep their grip on power. And yes, every decision that Fitz makes in this final book is critical, even if he makes all of the wrong ones. Can Fitz and his cohort overcome the big bad? Can they stop the forging? Can they complete their quest? You will have to read to find out. The world building in this series is some of the best that I have read in fantasy so far. The Six Duchies as a country is very vast and expansive. The main difference between the various areas is that there are coastal kingdoms, obviously on the coast, and inland kingdoms, which are not on the coast, and they're kind of connected through these rivers and things like that. They rely on one another through trade and such. There are some countries bordering the Six Duchies too, and you can really, really feel the difference between each individual country in terms of culture, what they eat, what they wear, maybe what's popular or trendy. It's all very good. I have read Mistborn Era 1 by Brandon Sanderson, and if you like that series, you can really, really feel the inspiration that Brandon Sanderson has taken from this series. After the first book, there are little lore expositions at the start of each chapter, which help you build up a further and more grand picture of this world. The whole trilogy is through Fitz's perspective, but the lore expositions mention what is going on through other people's perspectives. It almost feels like a bard or minstrel is recalling certain almost legendary events, kind of building up a little timeline of everything that goes on because Fitz can't be everywhere. And it's very, very good because you kind of start to understand what people are doing to try and survive in this very perilous, dangerous, frightening time. And who is doing a really, really good job at it, because we meet these characters, and so to kind of hear what they are doing to try and survive, keep their people safe in such times is really, really cool, and it kind of sends shivers down your spine. It gives you goosebumps on the old flesh. It is awesome. As you experience this world through Fitz's perspective, you get these vivid descriptions of where he is: intricate castles, desolate mountains, lush forests, open plains. Alongside this, you get to find out of wildlife that resides in these areas, the kinds of smells you might experience there, the kind of fauna that exists. You can always picture in your mind's eye where Fitz is. It really helps with the immersion aspect of getting sucked in to this fantasy world, because you always know what's surrounding the character, what is going on, and yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to talk a bit more about it in the magic system section that is coming up, but the way that the magic is handled in this series also adds to the elements of world building, because they're kind of tied together. It is one of the most unique magic systems I've read in fantasy, and it adds a lot of depth to the world. One of the important elements of her world building is the politics of the world. You can feel the social structure, how powerful or powerless it can make certain people. This is a major one because Fitz is completely powerless in certain situations, and you feel the extreme frustration alongside him. It's really cool though, because you can feel such a divide in the culture and the way that the royalty handle themselves between the 6 duchies and the Mountain Kingdom, as well as what we hear about the Charleston states, which we don't actually visit in this series, but we do get some mentions of. So, I've talked about the descriptions, the structures of the royalty, and just in terms of the citizenship, the law, the magic, and how they all help to shape the world building aspects of this awesome, brilliant world. It is one of the most immersive fantasy worlds I've experienced. It is simply amazing what Robin Hobb has done to keep you sucked in. She keeps a tight leash on you to make sure that you're enjoying yourself, enjoying the world, and just having a good time being in this different universe. I'm going to start the magic system section by prefacing that the way that the skill, the major magic system in this book is handled, is shrouded in mystery for a large portion of the series. So I'm going to say that if you don't want any spoilers about the magic system, feel free to skip ahead to the character section that is coming up next. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, if you haven't skipped ahead, you're part of the elite club that is willing to learn about the magic system. So, first of all, what I really appreciate about this magic system in this book is how unique it is, or at least how the different magics, how unique they are. For the most part, magic systems in fantasy involve the ability to use some kind of special physical ability, such as harnessing elemental magic, transformative magic, maybe buffing yourself to have supernatural abilities such as increased agility, strength, restoration. You get the idea. In this series, the magic systems are all mental. However, if you are very well trained in it, then you can kind of use it to start doing physical things, but you have to really truly be a master to reach that kind of level of mastery. So, the skill. At its fundamental core, what it allows a user to do is communicate with other people at great distances telepathically. Kind of like the wit, you can have a skill bond with someone you're close to, or maybe you can subjugate them to achieve this. The magic system kind of gives the user an all-seeing eye in some sense. To take it further, what is really interesting is that it kind of works like a mental Wi-Fi. You can block off your mind to others to stop them from reading your thoughts or seeing what you're kind of having in your vision. You can listen into other people's conversations. You can use it to dominate others and at extremes even kill them. However, despite how overpowered this magic system sounds, it certainly has its drawbacks. People that use it are physically drained through its use, even if they don't use the kind of super advanced, mega draining aspects of it. Frequent use of it can also leave you weakened and potentially even near death. If you're not careful, you can certainly die using it, so you have to be, keep yourself on your toes and be very, very reasonable and sensible with how you use this magic system. The wit is kind of like the other side of the coin in regards to this magic system, because it allows a wit user to bond themselves to an animal. The wit can kind of counteract the skill in some regards, and it's really, really interesting how it's done. When people are skill bonded, a wit bond can be kind of used to infringe upon this if it's done against the user's will. So if someone is in the depths of kind of being attacked with the skill, the wit can be used to defend the person that's under attack. So it's really, really imperative that Fitz has this constant companionship, and it really, really does help him in a lot of ways. But yeah, I really enjoyed the way that magic is used in this series. It's very unique, it has a lot of presence, and it makes a lot of this series, even during downtimes, feel very, very intense. Robin Hobb is well known for her character work. She definitely proved to me over the course of the trilogy that she's very, very good at doing this. Robin Hobb's characters in this trilogy are flawed, but purposefully so. Fitz is whiny, prone to making mistakes. People make very, very questionable decisions over the course of the series and have some eye roll moments at times. But they also have some really, really fist pumping moments that you can kind of celebrate with them when they happen. You love the characters one moment, then you hate them, then you love them again. I really appreciate how much of an emotional roller coaster Robin Hobb put me through with her character work. I don't think I've had such extreme and visceral reactions to characters before, apart from maybe in Frankenstein. The difference being in this book, in this series, it's for the whole cast of characters rather than just the one. There is such a wide variety of characters in this book. Whiny protagonists, absolute giga-chads, the most deplorable characters you will probably ever read, animal companions that can speak, princes, princesses, dukes, kings, queens, lovers, haters, fools, even cucks. It literally has it all. The character work really makes me want to continue reading this series, knowing full well that I'm going to get absolutely livid, completely angry doing so. That is a massive achievement, Robin Hobb. Well done. So, if you've been paying attention, you may have realized that I really, really like this series. I will try to give a balanced critique here at the end of this video to say what is great, what are the drawbacks, and help you make an informed decision as to whether you think this book is for you, this series is for you, or maybe if at this moment in time, at least, it might be, as concisely as I can. So, to recap all of the great things that I mentioned before, the world building is incredible and very immersive. I was sucked into this series more so than for any other fantasy series I've read so far. The characters all have their moments, whether that is making you laugh, making you cry, or making you cry from laughter, whether they make you happy, sad, or angry. Robin Hobb's character work puts you through such an intense emotional roller coaster, and I think that is a great thing. The magic system is very unique and lends itself massively to the world building and vice versa. The magic creates drama, tension, danger around every corner, and you can never really know what is going to happen next. While this book isn't very plot heavy, it certainly does pick up at some point, and the conclusion is absolutely amazing. It's so satisfying, it makes everything leading up to that point in terms of the pacing worth it. At least it did for me. I wouldn't consider this series grim dark. It has this weird optimism and joyfulness, heartiness, maybe a bit of wholesomeness that I enjoy in a book or series, but it definitely does get dark and bleak at times, so it's kind of in the middle there. It's kind of cozy and uplifting at times, but some really terrible, treacherous things happen, which make you kind of cringe a little bit. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's talk about the negatives. The plot in this book, in this trilogy, is definitely not its strong point. It causes devastating pacing issues, and if good pacing and good plot are important to you, it may be a very, very difficult time reading this series, especially with how long it is. While the characters putting you through an emotional rollercoaster worked for me, it can definitely make you want to smash your head against the wall at times. So I want to put the warning out there. Read at your discretion. Going back to the satisfying ending, there is a slight caveat to that. That being, considering how long this trilogy is, I would have enjoyed a slightly longer, drawn-out ending and epilogue to further experience the dopamine hits after all of the bad, dreadful, annoying, frustrating, horrible things happened over the course of the series. I like to do this thing I call a quality cozy matrix, or cozy quality matrix. I always change it up. It helps to provide the vibe of a book in terms of whether it's going to be good for you when you're in a good mood or a bad mood. Essentially, should you read this when you're depressed, or that kind of thing. And also to let people know how good I actually think a certain body of work is. So here is a cozy quality matrix of this series, in my opinion. I think this series is pretty feel-good, but due to its somewhat dark nature, I don't think it's anywhere near maxes out that scale. While I really enjoyed the series, I can definitely pinpoint that there are a lot of flaws, so it's pretty good quality. Maybe slightly a bit above, like mediocre, but it definitely doesn't max out that scale either, as I just mentioned. I thought it might be interesting to switch it up and do a little like a rating breakdown for each of the individual books that make up this trilogy. So here we go. Assassin's Apprentice, I rated 4 stars out of 5. I think it's a great coming-of-age story that introduces you to the characters, gives you a feel for the world, while starting to immerse you. The only reason it wasn't 5 stars, in my opinion, is that it suffers first book syndrome, where I start to like the characters, but not enough happens, and they don't have enough great moments that I really start to love them. Royal Assassin, I rated 5 stars out of 5. It's probably the bleakest book in the series. Fitz is so utterly powerless in this one because of the different directions that characters go in. This is where he really starts being an idiot. Whiny and pathetic, but I love him either way. I fell in love with the Fool. He made me laugh so many times. Other side characters such as Burrich, Chade, Night Eyes, Ketrican had some amazing moments in this book that kind of really, give you goosebumps and get you rooting for them and make you just absolutely adore them. So yeah, that was good. The political intrigue can drive the reader mad at times, but in a good way. The ending came so far out of nowhere. I did not know how Fitz would make it through the situation he was in, but he did, and it was so bizarre. It completely came out of left field, out of pocket. It was crazy. I had to pick up the next book right away and find out what was going on. And then the final book in the trilogy, Assassin's Apprentice, I rated that one 4 stars out of 5. This book is a big journey for Fitz, full of so many highs and lows. Fitz is at peak annoying because he makes terrible bad decisions, irrational decisions all of the time. It is so annoying. and it can just drive you mad. It can drive you bonkers even. The pacing issues feel probably the worst in this book out of all of the books in the trilogy, just because we know what the plot is at this point, and so when we just kind of see ourselves stopping and going backwards in terms of plot, it's just so infuriating. I love the world and the characters so much that I was just about okay with it, but my goodness, it did really, really slow down just when we wanted it to speed up. But yeah, I wish the ending was just a little bit longer as well, so I could kind of ride out that dopamine of a good fantasy trilogy coming to an end. So, I hope that this has informed you as to whether you should pick up the Farseer Trilogy by Rob and Hobb. I binged it over the course of February and had an absolutely amazing time. So if you're on the fence and you think you can kind of deal and cope with its several flaws, I urge you to do so because it is such a good time nevertheless. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have made it this far, I hope you don't have to become an assassin, like, ever. If you haven't already, be sure to press the like button and leave a comment on today's question or what you thought of the series if you read it, or just let me know what you're currently reading, what you're thinking of it, maybe what you read last. Be sure to press the subscribe button down below as well, so you never miss an upload from Rue with the Books, because I upload every week as best as I can. So there's plenty more content coming your way, and you can be the first to find out. So press that subscribe button, please. I have a bunch of social media down in the description below that you can go and connect with me on, such as Goodreads, Instagram, TikTok, Storygraph, whatever you like. I'll connect with you there if you connect with me. Anyway, until next time, Root out.